Greetings everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Caroline and today I'm going to do a part 2 to my how do I deal with negative thoughts video. All right, so in part 1, the last video that I posted, I gave more like quick tips, like on how to deal with them as they come about. But today's tips, they're more like if you have time to really work on yourself. It's about self-exploration to see what are the roots of the negative thoughts that you experience, the ones especially that come often. Okay, so let's say you have a recurring like bad type of thinking pattern that comes up in your mind. It could be related to anything. For instance, not feeling good enough, okay? Or you're just like going about your business and suddenly you feel sadness, but a deep, deep, deep vibe of sadness. You have no idea where it comes from. You were doing fine just a minute ago, but now you're feeling this type of way. And sometimes you don't have time to just like shift like from one vibe to the next, or from thinking a negative thought and allowing it to just flow through. Like you don't have the time, or like, you're not in the right space to like do this type of work. Well, I would suggest, of course, that you take the time when you're home or wherever you have a space where you can just do some inner reflection type of work, and sit down with those thoughts or with those vibes and become an observant. Okay, so it's almost as if you're detaching yourself from yourself and you're outside looking in. And no judgment, no attachment, nothing. You're just observing as if you're watching a movie. But now you're watching the thought patterns or that vibe, that, negative vibe that's happening, that's occurring. And you can start just observing, like I said, and then ask questions. As crazy as it sounds, like thoughts or vibes, energy are kind of like entities, okay? They have their own reason for being. There's a reason why they exist, or that they're in your mind space, or you're in your heart space, in your emotional space. They're like entities, and you can ask questions and see what comes up. So for instance, you were doing fine, now you feel a very deep sadness for no reason, and you're in a space where you can sit down and do some inner work. So you observe, okay, detaching myself from that energy. So what that means is you're not participating in cultivating that vibration. You're not going to the sadness like, oh my God, I feel so sad. Like, what's going on? Why? Nah, you're just observing it from outside looking in and saying, okay, right now I'm experiencing this sadness. Step 1. Step 2, ask questions. Where do you come from? Why are you here? What's the source of you being in my field, in my energetic field? Just ask questions. And then do not, I repeat, do not try to make up answers. Our conscious mind is going to try and find ways to link, oh, well, this and that and this and that. No, let that go, okay? No attachment at all. You're just an observer, and there's an entity that presented itself, and now you're asking questions, and it'll answer you. Maybe nothing will come up. Fine. Maybe some stuff will come up. Okay, whatever comes up, keep asking questions. Okay, so if this comes because of, if you showed up, let's say the entity of sadness, you showed up for this, that reason. Okay, well, this, that reason. Why did it manifest in sadness? And why is this happening, let's say, I don't know, months, years, decades after an event happened? Sometimes it's things that come from our childhood, and it's like 30 years later, you realize, oh my God, I always feel this type of sadness is related to that event that happened so many years ago. Ask questions, just figure out like, okay, where does this come from? Why is it happening? And whatever comes up, make sure to journal it. Write it down in your phone, or, a voice message, any way that you can keep track of the answers that come up, because they're kind of like directions that will help you find your way to the source of that energy or of that thought pattern. Okay. So Answers will come up, write them down, journal it, and keep doing this work. And what it does, at least for me, is the more I do this work, the more it takes away the, how can I say this? It takes away the, in French we say emprise. It's like it's overwhelming. It takes away at that level of like it taking over your life, because now you're detached from it and you're just observing and exploring it without creating some type of energetic link. So you're not deep into the emotion. You're aware that it exists, you acknowledge it, but you're not involved with it. So feeding it, making it grow and giving it more reasons to come back whenever it feels like it, or whenever there's a small trigger and it comes up. You're taking away its power, its drive, its force, its energy, okay? So this is what it does for me. And the more I do this work, and then I get to the root, when I do get to the root of a negative thought pattern or negative energy, then once I'm there, sometimes just realizing what it is will make it like transmute or neutralize completely, just like magic. It'll just shift because I come into awareness of what it is, and it simply does its magic of canceling it out. If not, you can decide in your own mind, okay, well, how do I transmute this? How do I shift it from this thinking pattern or this negative energy into its polar opposite, or into something that's neutral, or at least that gives me, that helps me resolve it. Because sometimes that's just what it is. It's just energy that needs resolution, that needs to be resolved from wherever it comes from, or whatever the source, the root of that thinking pattern is. So an event that happened, words that were said, a fight with someone, or it could be anything, right? So you can choose either, well, number one, like I said, either it resolves itself, it neutralizes completely when you come into awareness of what it is, or you come to a point where you can choose how to shift that energy. Okay, so from the sadness, you realize, okay, I see where it comes from. Well, now I can choose to shift. I shifted to something else. And it might take a lot of time. It might take a lot of practice to completely master this, where the sadness just stops showing up, or at least it shows up in much less, with much less power than it used to. Well, then just keep practicing that. Every time it shows up, shift it. And you can just do this with your mind. You can speak into it, or you can just feel it within you that, okay, I'm taking this energy and I'm shifting it into something else, into love, into peace, into inner calm, whatever you want to shift it to. You just use your mind, use your energy within you, and shift it. Okay, I could do a video on how to like use your mind and your energy, your emotions to shift energy or feelings, emotions, your words, just energy in general. Okay, so you can do that. So this requires, like I said, a lot of inner work. It takes time, but it's definitely worth it, because it gives you back your power. Okay, like you put yourself back at the seat of the throne of your own self, and you choose how energy will be manifesting within you. Okay, and when something comes through, and number one, you don't even know where it comes from, or maybe you do, but you decide, I don't want to experience this energy anymore. Whenever it shows up, it just causes chaos or wreaks havoc in my life. Then I can choose to shift it to something else. So you use your power, your mind power, to do that. Okay, so I invite you to do the work. If you try this, let me know how it works out for you, or if there are any other methods that you do and how they've helped you out. Share with me, share with us. I'm really curious to know how people do this type of work on themselves, if they do it at all, right? Because sometimes we don't. We're just on autopilot and just allow things to happen, emotions to come up, and we think, oh, that's just me, or that's just, second nature. Oh, well, I'm moody, or this or that. No, like we are everything, and being everything, being one with all, you can choose which emotional vibration you vibrate to. You can choose your emotional frequency. We just have to remember that we have the power to shift. And it takes work, especially since we're not raised necessarily with this knowledge and with this practice, this life practice, this way of being. Well, when you come into it as an adult, you have to undo a whole bunch of habits that you have, especially here and here, so that you can now become something different and you can come into full power of who you are. It's work, but it's work worth doing. It's helped me find much more inner peace and inner calm. And I'm not done, okay? Don't get me wrong. I'm not done. There's still a lot of stuff for me to work on. But, you know, the more I do this, the more I feel, like I said, this inner peace, this inner calm. And I feel even more confident whenever something new shows up or something that was like already there, but now it's like its turn to be worked. I feel more confident in myself that I can shift this into something different. All right. So again, let me know what you think. Like, comment, subscribe if you want more information regarding self-exploration and consciousness awakening, metaphysics, yoga. I'll talk about yoga of the mind. That's one way of doing yoga in the mind, right? To just shift your energy within you. And follow me on Instagram, of course, Wildflowers in the Sun with underscores. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting this channel. And have a peaceful day. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.